Ken, what you got? I'ma whoop you like I whooped you last time. You here to defend? Huh? You ain't gonna get it. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah! What's up? Time to level up. Israel Gaming back with another iconic arcade Street Fighter update. Last time, we, Ryu, World Warrior, beat the living hell out of the Alpha Series Ryu. Now, my real gamers, it seems like we're gonna be getting the World Warrior cabinet. Yeah! If I have anything else to say about it. Wait a minute. What are you doing here? Lucky Waka. You want to know what I'm doing here, Ryu? I'll tell you what I'm doing here. I'm here to defend Ryu after last time, and you kicked our butts. And we're gonna revenge Ryu and finally pick what iconic arcade Street Fighter CAD we're going to get this holiday season. Yeah!
Round one, fight!
Alright, my real gamers, while Ryu and Ken fight it out in the back for supremacy on the decision on which iconic arcade Street Fighter Alpha 2 or World Warrior cabinet that we are going with, my real gamers. We have made a decision, but we're going to leave it up to the battle to determine who won. While we're doing that, we're going to read some information on Reddit from NeoHyper64, courtesy of Bill's Retro Gaming Show, 19K Fox, James Hates Everything, P-Dub's Arcade Loft, Michael B. the Game Genie, and the Cornercade. There's been a lot of community members and other arcade YouTubers that have been covering this since day one. Myself have been pre-ordered since day one, and I've been committed, and I kept my pre-order because I had faith. Let's go ahead and read some of the new information that's coming out for the iconic arcade Street Fighter release that's releasing later this year in October. We're getting close, my real gamers. Now let's read some details. More iconic XXL details and speculations revealed. Let's talk about the hardware. Okay, the monitor for the Street Fighter 2 cabinet will use a 16:9 24 mid-motion Livono monitor, which happens to be the same model featured in the Double Dragon prototype earlier this year, where they showcased both Double Dragon cabinet, the original, and the new Double Dragon Revive cabinet, which were pretty cool. We all thought that it was going to be a 1-for-1 for that event, but it seems that it'd be a little bit more than we're thinking, my real gamers. Let's go ahead and hope and pray that Iconic releases Double Dragon next and other cabinets. Let's go ahead and continue. All right. It's said to be crispy, and it says to be a crispy monitor, somewhat as like a BOE monitor that we have back here. I have one for the Mortal Kombat, one for the Street Fighter Turbo, the X-Men 97, etc. All of my monitors are pretty much BOE from Arcade 1-Up. All right, so they're comparing that to the Arcade 1-Up monitors. So it's going to be as crispy as they are. That's a good thumbs up on my book. I'm glad to hear it. All right, now let's talk about the controls. The control buttons and joysticks are high-quality Sanwa clones, comparable or better than At Games. So that right there, I have an At Games AOU over there at the end. You can't really see. I believe when I was doing the skit with Ryu and Ken, I was playing with Ryu on that AOU right there. That's good to know that the sticks qualities and the buttons are going to compare to those, because out of all of my arcades in the room, besides my Captain America multicade that comes with authentic, real Sanwa buttons and joysticks, those are authentic. Those are my best sticks in my room. Facts. The AOU is probably second in the room. Everything else is arcade 1-up, and we all know how that goes. The mushy buttons, hard to press, not competition style at all. So another thumbs up. I'm glad to hear it. Let's go ahead and component delays. Main reason for the release delay was component cost and availability. Pre-orders were held back to avoid pricing uncertainty and potential losses. So they didn't want to lose any more money, my real gamers. The tariffs hit everyone. At games, upcoming Basic Fun, Unico, Arcade 1-Up, you name it, including Iconic. So the tariffs hit pretty bad. So they didn't want to lose any more money. So we all get why they chose to cut pre-orders. Me, I kept it since day one. I almost canceled pre-orders when I found out that they were going to delay the June release, and they decided to release it in October. I kept my cool, and I kept my pre-order. Shout out John D. I believe in you, and I can't wait to talk more about this product. Let's go ahead and continue. The pre-order pricing and all that good stuff, all right? The quality commitment. Despite delays, quality and cabinet size were improved. So I was on, I believe, Michael B's Chillin' Chat one evening, and we were all talking about, what's going to happen with the cabinet and why, the tariffs and the cease and desist and everything, that they had to make changes to the cabinet. And me, personally, I told Michael B. and I believe B. Kirby, a few other colleagues in the chat, that there were going to be some major changes to the cabinet, including size, sticks, buttons, everything. And for the most part, I was correct. They kept the same HS1 style, and they brought it pretty much as big as a real arcade unit, like 19K Fox's NVS or Road Blasters. Let's go ahead and compare that. Those are full-blown real arcades. And us in the community, though I'm very happy with my deluxe line, we want bigger. After getting the AOU, I realized that I wouldn't mind having a couple XLs in the room. And what better than to start with my fighter first, because I'm a big fighter fan. As you can see, Marvel, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Mortal Kombat, Killer Instincts, you name it, I'm a fighting cab freak. Let's go ahead and finish here. All right. The size has improved. Customers will remain at their original price, meaning the original pre-order holders, if you did not cancel, like myself, and you held off, your $6.99 price tag with free shipping stands. I am relieved on that, because we're going to go on to the next part of this right here, which is future pre-orders, which they're planning on doing at other retailers or online stores like Amazon. All right. Future pre-orders, considering reopening pre-orders closer to shipping. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read and look at the camera at the same time. I'm new at this, so bear with me. All right. But no guarantees of the same $6.99 price. Whew. Yeah. So if you did not pre-order this when they were open and you're planning on doing it when they reopen, do not be surprised if the price goes up another $100 or so. Which I believe that if that's what's going to happen, it's going to go up. Me personally, what I'm thinking is going to go up from $6.99 to $7.99. If not, if they go up above that and it's $1,000 cabinet, they might lose a lot of customers. And we don't want to see Iconic fail, especially with their first release of these two beautiful Street Fighter cabinets. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a halt for a second, and we're going to go to the next segment. And we're going to go ahead and check in with Ryu and Ken to see who's winning the battle. And we're going to let you know, Sue, who won and what cabinet we chose. I'll be back, my real gamers. Yeah!
Oh, that hurt, Ken. But I got something for you. I'm not worried about you because I know we're gonna win. I bet it did hurt, Ryu. Huh. Now we're gonna determine who's gonna be the winner in this iconic Street Fighter competition. It's over, Ryu. Oh.
Round 2, fight! Attention, focus!
Another one.
Attention, focus!
And another one.
Attention, focus!
Now, real quick, my real gamers, let's talk about the goals of Media 1UP. What are they trying to accomplish with these two cabinets and future releases for this arcade community and everyone that loves these genres? All right, let's go ahead and read some more. Media 1UP strategy for Iconic aims to require fan favorite licenses that require stronger chipsets than Arcade 1UP and basic fun use. So they're trying to bring it hard. They want the best graphics, the best sticks, the best quality, the best build, authenticity. They're trying to knock us out of the water right now. First go, first cabs. Basic Fun is trying to do the same thing. They're trying to bring the heat. They're trying to put Arcade 1UP back on their toes. Arcade 1UP, you better listen up because these two companies, Iconic, Basic Fun, they have not released yet. They're about to release. You better do something quick before you lose a lot of people. Yeah. Advice to you guys. I have a bunch of your products in my room. So I've been very supportive. A lot of us in the community have been very supportive. You are losing us, my friends. You are losing us. All right. Let's get back to what the goals about Iconic. All right. Now, the libraries versus volume. Media 1UP may not match other sale volumes, but will offer superior and centric game libraries. Meaning it's going to be the titles and games that we want and ask for. It's not going to be filler titles or rinsed and repeated titles that we don't want to see anymore. Obviously, these companies are about to release games, so they have to start somewhere. So why not come out with the big bangers and get them out the way, like Street Fighter, Ninja Turtles, WrestleFest, eventually Tekken. That's what we want to see. I want to see Tekken. I'm a fighter fan and a beat 'em up fan and then a sports fan. That's how my arcades go. Fighters, beat 'em ups, sports games like NBA Jams, NFL Blitz, Racers, all that stuff. But they're gonna give us what we want. It's not gonna be a massive library at first, but if we stick with them and we show support for these companies, especially Media 1UP, John D, Iconic Arcade, they're gonna give us more and what we want. Now, here's another important factor: the sizes of these cabinets. So the shapes of a Road Blasters or MVS or a Big Blue, they want to match the size and shape The sizes will mostly be 68 by 72 inches, but will be varied by shape to mimic the authentic cabinet. So they want to recreate these nostalgic cabs, size for size, quality for quality. I'm all for it. I'm ready, and I know a lot of you guys are. And start looking at, the controller decks. We have images courtesy of 19K Fox. The one from CES, the original one. We're going to take a look at the HS1 original arcade size controller deck. And then we're going to compare it to the final deck of iconic arcade Street Fighter. And we're going to show you that they are truly trying to mimic old nostalgic cabinets that we used to love and play growing up. This is amazing stuff, man. I'm too excited. Too excited. Let's look at some of these images, all right? Of the monitors, the controller decks, and all the specifications. And then we're going to give our final thoughts. And then we're going to end it off with letting you know which cabinet we chose. Right now, we're looking at the original CES version and the new iconic renders that are going to release later this year, okay? Look at the size differences, my real gamers. The original CES version was 67 inches tall. That was pretty tall. And a 19-inch monitor, a 7.6 and a 22.2 length controller deck. Okay, so the cabinet was already big, and a lot of us was happy with it already. But obviously we want bigger, and we want as close as we can get to the real thing as you can get. And now let's look at what the size is now. It's grown over an inch taller at 68 inches, okay? So 7.16. And that's right there, that's the marquee. The marquee size even got bigger. The monitor got bigger with the bezel as well. The monitor now is going to be 19.5 inches, including the bezel, which rounds off to about a 24-inch monitor, something like that. All right. The controller deck size now goes from a 7.6 all the way to 9 inches. You're going to have enough palm room to rest, to play these games. And you're going to have space in between player 1 and 2, the way that these things are meant to be, especially fighting cabs. 19K Fox is definitely right about that. These cabs, for the most part, are fine if you're playing by yourself. But if you go on any of these arcade 1-ups, deluxes, or anything else, even the XLs that arcade 1-up have themselves, they're tight play. And we're tired of that. We want authentic. We want space. We want to be able to enjoy these games the way that they're meant to be played. All right. The width of the cabinet itself goes from 22.2 to 23.6. It's not really that much of a difference, but you can tell by looking at this picture side by side that it is bigger in every way. Now let's go ahead and take a look in depth at the controller deck and see what they did with that. Because I believe 19K Fox showed that they're going to have an opening mechanism that comes out at you. Like the original arcades themselves, they used to open up from where the monitor bezel was and come out at you so you can service your cabinet or your buttons and joysticks, switch them out, etc. Service your machine. That's pretty cool. None of my machines in here do that. They all, slam down and they screw on. The new deck's gonna have screws as well to secure it. But after you unscrew it, it's gonna unfold up from the monitor bezel. And I believe 19K Fox says there's gonna be like a weathering strip, like a padding strip going along the bezel and the controller deck, protecting the monitor so it doesn't break or, crack or mess up anything, which I think is amazing. Let's go ahead and take a look at these pictures and look in more detail. Now, looking at the far left, you see the original Street Fighter Alpha cabinet right there, okay? Look at how much space that controller deck has. It's insane. Now, the one in the middle is the Dynamo. That also has plenty of room to play. Amazing. Now, the last picture on the right is going to be the recreation from iconic arcade Street Fighter Alpha. And you see the graphite controller deck artwork. I have that same artwork right there. Let me point my finger right here on the Shinku or the Yoga Flame Shinku Hadouken right there. That has graphite all over the controller deck. The Yoga Flame version. So I know what I'm going to have when I get it. I also know about the diamond plate. A lot of people want to see that they saw on the original render of the cabinet back at CES when they showed off the two cabinets. I have that on the X-Men 97, the diamond plate. That's the play guard surface. Beautiful stuff. It's a beautiful controller deck, artwork, diamond plate. It's awesome. I can go either way, my real gamers. I just want the cabinet to come out. Now, after the controller decks, the monitor bezel, pulling in, and all that good stuff. The last thing to talk about was one of the first things they talked about a week or two ago when they started leaking some of the stuff for Iconic. All right, there's been emails sent out by Iconic to pre-order holders about the artwork for the World Warrior cabinet, and there was 6 artworks. And me, I picked 2. I picked the authentic number 2, for the artwork. And that's not even in the equation. I believe the one that's winning currently is 3. But it's between artwork 1 and artwork 3. And if I had to say, even though, I wanted the 2 artwork, whether I got that cabinet or the Alpha cab, it doesn't matter if I got either or cab. I wanted it to be authentic for everyone that was getting it. So I picked 2. If I had to choose between 1 and 3, I would pick 3 because the artwork is more, it's more evened out. On the first render of the artwork, it was too bulky and just, it was too much going on. We all the stuff, it looked great. It just needed to be proportioned right. And the artworks and the labels and the names needed to be in the right place. And you had to feel like you was getting something nostalgic, whether you was getting a modern arcade unit, So there you go. Now, the final conclusion that I need to say about this, I'm looking forward to more leaks and things. I heard that there's going to be downloadable free games coming. You're not going to be able to add games to the Pi 5 that's coming in it. They're locking that all the way down. That's another segment that I should have talked about. But let's go ahead and get that out the way, my real gamers. They are locking it down. You are not going to be able to add nothing to this Pi 5. So you have the option of taking it out and do that at your own risk, because I believe when you get the cabinet, there's going to be warranties in play and stuff, and mod at your own will. If you want to do it, do it. I'm not telling you to. Do what you want. But if you want other games, you're going to have to take their Pi out and add another Pi and another image, Battle Sarah, all that stuff, Or there is an option that they're talking about. They're going to be adding games via Wi-Fi updates to the cabinets, and I'm ecstatic. I'm like, oh my god, it brings more value to the XXL. Like, this may be the one and all cabinet for your collection. Like, if you don't have the space or the room for all these machines, a lot of us don't have all this room to be having these things everywhere. These things take up room. So if you had a choice to get an XL cabinet that comes with 14 games already, I believe if you pre-order, you get the 14th game or 15th game for free, Captain Commando or something like that, pre-order bonus. But now they're talking about adding more games via Wi-Fi with free updates and free games. Another rumor has it that they're going to be an online store to get newer Capcom titles that pertain to this Capcom cabinet. Like, hint, hint, maybe Double Dragon Revive? If they give you the ability to add all these new games from upcoming cabinets and different modern titles, this would be a game changer alone. Not to mention the Pi 5 that allows content creators like myself and others to host tournaments. This is going to be an extreme. Yeah, that's the new name of the new cabinet for iconic Street Fighter. Let's get extreme. Yeah, again, it's going to be crazy. The last thing that myself and the community need to see is the final render in shape for both cabinets out there in the wild, meaning hosting or going to gaming conventions or things of that sort, so we can actually see the product in full production before they start shipping later on this year in October. Hopefully, let's pray, my real gamers, that people like me and others that pre-order will receive this before the end of the year. Because just because I said that it's releasing in October doesn't mean it's going to hit your door in October. It's probably going to end up late November, late December. If you're lucky, don't be surprised if it's going to be early January before getting one of these units. But nonetheless, I hope that all the information that I gave you today, that I compiled up from all the content creators and community members that have been following this iconic arcade Street Fighter debacle, is what you want to call it, because it's been a wild ride, my real gamers. It's by the time this cabinet does release, it's going to be a few months shy, maybe 8-9 months shy of a year from pre-order starting in February to releasing in October and potentially getting it early in January. So there you have it, my real gamers. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's go ahead and check out Ryu and Ken's final moments together, as now they're going to decide on which iconic Street Fighter Extreme arcade they're going to be going with. Be sure to smack a like, leave a comment, and hit me up on all social media platforms at Israel Gaming. Remember to keep it real and keep playing.
Oh, God. Oh, you got me pretty good.
Final round fight.
This is over, my friend. We've been friends for a long time, Ryu. But now, it's over. Huh?
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Guys! Fellas.
can have Iconic. I'm not worried about it. You win. You win. You win. Perfect. It was a tough battle, but we decided that we're gonna go with Street Fighter Alpha 2.
And there you have it, my real gamers. It has been determined and decided that we are going to go with Street Fighter Alpha Extreme Arcade. It's been an amazing ride, my real gamers, and Ryu had a good fight. He won against the Street Fighter Alpha Ryu himself. So the mirror match has been won by Ryu, World Warrior. But Ken decided to come and revenge Ryu and secure the Alpha series to the top. So, in saying that, my real gamers, I'm going to give you a reason why I decided to go with Alpha 2 instead of World Warrior Cabinet. Me, myself, before even the artwork decisions, they had 6 artworks to choose from. Before that was even planned or even thought of, they had the original render for the World Warrior, only 1 artwork to choose from, and 1 artwork for Alpha. I wanted to go with the authentic look, as the World Warrior Cabinet, the original render, was not original at all. But if you stop and think about it, my real gamers, for just 1 second, the Alpha 2 cabinet was the closest to the nostalgic feel you can get. Even though there was not a dedicated Alpha 2 cabinet out there, the Alpha series eventually went to consoles like PlayStation and other platforms. And the posters and the cover art, especially for PlayStation 2, was that Alpha series side art that you see on the new cabinet. So that's why I chose Alpha 2 from the beginning. Now, when they decided to have a competition on different artworks on the community, especially the pre-order holders, to choose and decide on what's the final artwork for the World Warrior, I decided to email Iconic Arcade personally and ask them if it was an option, if it was too late to change from Alpha 2 to World Warrior. They did not answer me back, my real gamers, but it's okay, because in the end, I went with the correct choice, because that Alpha 2 cabinet is beautiful. And I can't wait to have it in my hands and cover it and review it and show you guys all the goodies and all the new features coming. Be sure to smack a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel at Israel Gaming. And stay tuned for future upcoming content from G.I. Joel Gaming, Nintendo Cab. That should be coming soon, my real gamers. And if I have any more updates on Iconic or any new leaks on upcoming titles that are wanted in this arcade community, I'll be sure to cover it as soon as possible. I'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah!